that comes up. Before we start, if there's any public comment on the agenda items, we would take it now on the agenda items only.
Not on the items, I just want to speak.
Okay, we will give you an opportunity. If it's on the agenda items, we want to give you a chance to speak.
I haven't seen a copy of the agenda, so.
Oh, okay.
There's one on the table.
All set as door.
For your comfort, we won't be making any, I don't see us making any votes that would require your comment. So,
Okay.
you know, that's the secret of giving you a chance to talk before we make any votes. I don't think we're making any votes on any of those. Well, actually, we will make a few votes on the surplus police cruiser. So if there's any, again, any opportunity, or for you to speak on that, now would be the time. Otherwise, we'll move on. So, the minutes. And we do not have the minutes of our special meeting, so we won't go ahead and approve those tonight. But if somebody wants to put in a vote to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for June 3rd as without being read.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded that we accept the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And accepted. Treasurer's report.
Make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded that we accept the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Claims and payroll.
I move that we accept claims and payroll as presented. I
Second.
second it.
Moved and seconded to accept claims and payroll as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We don't have a judge's report. We do have a mayor's report. Water pumped in June was 6,655,000 pumped. Water sold was 4,600,100. That's a loss of 31%. Keep in mind when we say that, though, that we have a pool that holds 330,000 gallons of water, and that isn't sold water. And we're also irrigating the park, so actually we don't have much of a loss there. Most of that has gone into the pool filling and irrigation, so I think we're doing pretty good. Just for fun, Bruce Newton has tested and passed the training to be a Class 3A and Class 3B drinking water distribution system operator. Yeah, got these today, so that's good for Bruce. Good to have our guys certified where they need to be. Good to have that redundancy. This week, an irrigation system is being put on the Greenway. Tony, the tree guy, is putting in an irrigation system all the way across the Greenway. You might have seen the Public Works guys out working out by the train station last week, and that's what they were doing, is digging down and trying to access water for that. They had to run 1.5 inches poly all the way down so that we could tap into that for the irrigation system. We did get a few chances to irrigate it with the fire truck while we were waiting for that, so hopefully we've kept that grass alive, and a couple of nice tsunamis came through today that should have helped. So hopefully we'll have a Greenway instead of a brown way. The pool is up and running. We had a barbecue and a pool party for the lifeguards and the fire and the ambulance crews on the 20th. And a good time was had by all. It was, I think, a successful event. A good opportunity for the fire departments and our ambulance crew to connect with our lifeguards. And hopefully that'll bring some longevity to the whole program, the pool thing. We have 3 lifeguard trainers and lifeguards that are each from each of those agencies, the city fire, the Plains Paradise Rural Fire Department, and Plains Community Ambulance. They're here in our community for a while, and so I think that's gonna carry on some longevity and some hope for training in years future. Bring some volunteerism into the whole pool dynamic. So that was a good story. And actually K-Pax will be here Tuesday the 9th to do a story on our pool opening. So that'll be some fun airtime. So if any of you want to do a photo bomb there, you can show up at the pool.
I have my lab jump in on that.
Yeah, there you go. Also, this is kind of interesting. The Sri Chinmoy Oneness Home Peace Run is a global torch relay created in 1987. It'll be running through Plains on July the 3rd, Wednesday. I don't know a whole lot more about it. I was talking to the mayor of Thompson Falls today about it, and she didn't know anything about it. They're running through Thompson Falls tomorrow, so she was anxious to hear what that was about. I did a little research on it. Basically, it's every 2 years, teams of runners cover 25,000 miles globally while carrying a flaming torch, symbolic of the flame for peace in every heart. The 4-month North American Peace Run covers 11,000 miles and is running down Highway 200 from Thompson Falls on Wednesday. So if any of you, I sent in an email to them just here about an hour and a half ago to see exactly what time they're coming through town. But if I find that out and you want to know, let me know. Hopefully I'll find out tonight at some point or tomorrow. So JD, you might want to get some spandex. And I was just thinking that out. I know I plan to. Anyway, that'll be coming through Wednesday, so that could be fun. Officer reports, I don't see any officers here. Fire department is not here. I'm still waiting on Tony to hear back from him any bids. He doesn't have any bids yet for the HB 355 for building on to or remodeling the fire hall. So I'm still waiting to hear from him. He kind of needs to put a plan together and get some bids on that. And he said he was going to do it over the weekend, but I did not hear from him. So we'll have to wait on that. Police department is not here and they don't have a report. But good news, if I think I can share this, is that Rick Nicholas actually passed his physical for the academy, so that's good news. Rick isn't quite a spring chicken, but I guess young enough to pass that test, so good for him. So that's good news for us because that means had he not passed that, we would have had to be looking for another police officer that could pass the post. So that's good news for us. Yeah. And I know we've gotten some flack, and I think I can say this because the newspaper guys aren't here. But I think we have a good police force, and it's very vigilant. And I think the town is getting used to their vigilance, so they're doing a good job.
Just to expound on that, I think that we have an outstanding chief of police that has really done a great job of bringing professionalism to Smyrna. We're very fortunate to have it.
We are. Absolutely agree. Yeah, just doing outstanding work. Public Works Department is not here. Unfinished business. Review of Chapter 4 ordinance billing. Unfortunately, we can't really move forward on that because we don't have anything back from the attorney on that yet.
Once again, I'll motion to table it.
Motion to table,
I'll second.
moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll table that. HB 355 project, again, no bids from the fire hall, so there's really nothing we can do on that. I would take a motion to table.
Move to table HB 355.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we table HB 355. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business, approval of records retention destroy list. So in the back of your packet, you saw a white sheet. You want to grab that out, and that gives you a list of the records that we will be shredding. Most of these, if not all, when I was looking through it, contain personal information, and so they're to be shredded. And it's all quite old, is it not, Melanie?
A lot of it is, yeah, like
Yeah.
back to 87.
Of course, we don't shred anything that we're not allowed to legally, so.
Right.
Yeah, the floodplain stuff, they keep telling me it needs to be kept forever.
Okay,
If we have anything that.
Okay.
okay,
Flood-
I'll remember that if I can.
What did you say,
You-
John?
Floodplain records
Oh, floodplain, yes,
yeah.
okay.
Okay,
and all the, what do you call it? Jumped out of my mind, just I was gonna say it. Where they make the map revisions and, map adjustments for insurance reasons. They all need to be kept.
Absolutely. Any plating information, anything like that, yeah, we won't. These are just financial records that are no longer required to keep.
Okay. And move that we approve the records retention destroy list as presented.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded that we destroy these records, shred them. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. So passed. Sale of pug truck, I don't know really what we can do on this. We have talked about this in the Public Works Committee. If there's any discussion on this, now would be some, an opportunity for the council to do that. There is the consideration of selling the pug truck just because it requires the use, requires about 3 or 4 guys to run. We have 2 Public Works employees. I don't, certainly, this is a council decision to sell the pug truck. If we did sell it, it would give us some financial opportunity to perhaps buy equipment that would be more useful to our public works guys. There was and I'll give the Public Works Committee an opportunity to talk on this in the committee reports, but there was talk at the last Public Works Committee about an infrared plate trailer that would help to basically it reheats the roads to like 350 degrees, and you can throw in hot mix into that and kind of reform the roads. We're also looking at some new technology, a new material called Easy Street, which is just a better mix to put down in the holes that seems to adhere much better than a cold mix that we've been doing. So there's just a lot of research that we're doing in this, and kudos to the guys in the Public Works Committee for just kind of doing the research on this. John Ressler's done a lot of research on trying to find out what's the best thing to do for our roads. It costs a tremendous amount, as we've talked about, to build a new road. We're still working on that, and there's new roads that we want to build every year. We're hoping to get onto Blake Street. I talked to our engineer this morning about putting out bids for Blake Street, which is kind of a top priority street, also possibly Johnson Street. Just looking at those and seeing which has the better base to see what's more likely to repair. Lake Street is pretty much gravel. That's that chunk from the old jailhouse down to the ambulance barn. It's pretty much just gravel, and that is an access, an egress for our ambulance service. I won't say that it's also an egress for one of our council members, that would probably, but no, it is one of the worst roads in town, and it's a small enough piece of road that we could actually do likely for under $80,000. So that's one that we're looking at. Again, any comments or thoughts on that? Now is the time to talk about that, because we'll be looking at putting out an opportunity for bids on that, hopefully here in the next week, if I can, with Sherry.
Would we be putting one of these drain systems there?
Yeah, likely
Probably
actually
more.
at least two or three. Yeah. And our public works guys would be doing that, which would bring that bid down a little bit.
Something I did this last week was called Tom down at the hot mix plant and spoke with him. Super guy. He was very helpful. He did give us an idea. We have a little bit longer window on purchasing hot mix. He said somewhere around 4 to 5 months during the summer. He also did indicate they do run sometimes, depending on weather, of course, during the winter time if they have a large project. But that's something of, would be like an emergency situation, and that's kind of goes along with the pump truck sale and this other infrared thing. So the window is a little bit bigger on the hot mix acquisition than we thought it was, which that's going to help a lot. Carl at the guys that have this other equipment, I spoke with him also, and he said that there wasn't a problem in using this new infrared over chip seal or the cold mix. He said you might have to adjust your heating times and whatnot according to how that was mixed, of course. That's a little bit off topic, but it does kind of relate back to the sale of the truck. So gives us a little bit of better idea of how this newer equipment, if we decide to go with that, would work with what we have.
What is the cost of that piece of equipment?
There's two different pieces. One is the infrared panel itself, which is $25,000, and the hot box that goes with that is $12,000.
So it's $37,000.
Approximately, yes. We didn't include a new vibra plate. I don't have an amount on that vibra plate yet, but it shouldn't be too bad on that.
What's not too bad?
The vibra plate,
Yeah, what's not too bad? 2,000, 3,000?
I don't know yet. I'll get a better number on that for you, Connie.
My guess would be between the 1,000, 2,000, probably like $1,500, I would think.
Sounds about right, yeah.
I just didn't know.
And now is the time for questions from council, questions or concerns or whatever, from council or from the public on that, because we're just doing a lot of research on trying to figure out how to repair our roads as much as we can. So,
What are we thinking the pump truck is worth if we chose to sell it? What big value does it have?
17,000.
what I know is that it was purchased for $17,000. I also know that would be a deal that we would probably make with Dan Rowan, who lives in town, and we can shame him if he doesn't give us a good deal on it. No, I don't know. I know that the roller that went with it, that did work when we bought it, doesn't work anymore. It's broken, so it would have that would bring down the price. Our thought with that is that what we would do is, and I've talked to Willie of it, out of the county, our plan is if we were to sell it to them, to leave a window open, and Willie is open for this, and Dan is open for this, to leave that available for us to lease it from them, for per day cost, whether that would be $150, $200 a day, if we wanted to use that, if we really felt that we needed to use that particular piece of equipment. I think the infrared may well do what that does, or a better mix of PUG. Right now, I don't remember the last time we used it. I think it's been over 2 years since we've used that truck. So it's sitting and it's just something for us to maintain. We have to think small. We have to contract our big jobs, I think, in a town like this, rather than buy a lot of expensive equipment that also has a lot of expensive upkeep. That's kind of the way we're thinking, and when I say we, I'm talking about particularly the Public Works Committee, but all of you. I mean, we'll take any input that we can get.
You
Again,
know me, spending money. And I did have a thought, and I'm gonna share that thought with the council, in regard to the plow truck. We paid for it, it's ours, right? And we need a couple extra guys to do the hard work behind it, not to drive it. Bruce can drive it, or whatever. So I was thinking, in terms of, years ago, I had personnel agency and I had a lot of contract labor. And when you have contract labor, if you hire contract labor, which a town can do, you don't assume any liability with them. They're contracted, just like you hired a contractor to fix the pool or whatever. They get hurt on the job or whatever, that's their issue. And so I thought, well, okay, so if we, with the budget we have with the VARSA funds and that, I was thinking that perhaps we use that piece of equipment that we paid for and hasn't been used since Danny, actually.
Well, I saw
I was like,
a summer or so ago, Bruce and Kirk,
yeah, it takes at least two guys on the back.
yeah,
So you have to have at least two guys working. So I thought we contracted someone and we paid them out of the VARSA, okay, which we have to do, we have to use that money. It would also pay for the hot mix and we could virtually patch every pothole in Plains. And the people of Plains would go yay, as opposed to one street that's off over on the North 40 that nobody drives on. That's just my thinking. I just wanted to add that to the conversation. I want y'all to have everything that we're poor.
So as of right now, the only expense that we incur with that piece of equipment is insurance. We're not making a payment on it, it's paid for.
correct, yeah.
So to keep it for the time being, it doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't.
That's the major complaint I'm getting from the residents that are in my.
Or the potholes,
Are
totally understood.
over and over and frankly, I don't like them very much.
Connie, with your thought, living in Plains, where would we find a contract worker? Is that like easy to do in Plains?
Well, yeah, I call it hire drunk, okay? You go down to the bar and you say, I'm just kidding, but what it is, you put out that you need two guys to work for 3 days. They have to contract, and the attorney could draw up a contract with a no liability to the city type of thing. You pay them out of that. You don't
So
withhold
it's not from
taxes.
an agency?
Huh?
You don't hire them
No,
from an
no.
agency? Okay.
And you don't pay taxes, you don't withhold taxes. If they contract, okay? Because I used to do this for a living, so I understand it really well. If they contract, they have to pay their own taxes. If they choose not to, that's their problem.
They have to have like a $500,000 insurance policy as well.
No,
That's if they have a contracting license.
yeah. I'm talking contract labor.
Yeah.
Very
Day
different.
service.
Yeah. No, it's not the same. But we can certainly have the attorney look into that. And
Do
do
they
that
need to be
as
trained
part-
to be on the back doing the hard labor? Is that like they need to go through some training to know how to do it right?
I imagine that, it's something that could be, fairly quickly trained. However, to do it right, you really want to get your levels really well done. And my thinking on that is just the complication of first of all, getting people to work, which is difficult. Is if we can actually find some kind of a system that our two guys can do, that would be ideal. And I did have a good talk with the deputy director of Public Works in Missoula here last week, who again talked about this new product they're using, and that's pretty much what they're using in Missoula exclusively. They have, like you said, can't remember the number of potholes that they fix a year, over 20,000 or something, and they've been using kind of exclusively a product that is more expensive than the cold mix that we use, but it seems to last really, really well. It cures really well. And so that's something, of course, to look into. Ask the guys that have been doing this for a long time. I'm hoping to actually get in there. Maybe Johnny and I can make a trip in, or anybody that's interested to go actually visit with him and to see what they're doing in Missoula. They also do have an infrared plate that they use, and to see that in action and see how that works. If we could find something that two guys could do, right now they're fixing them with cold mix. One guy shoveling it out of the little payloader and rolling over it. The downside of that, it doesn't really seem to last very long.
No, it washes right out.
Huh?
It washes right out.
Yeah.
Well, my only concern is that that food truck might come in handy someday.
Yeah.
And,
That's what Danny wants.
to keep us from going and having to buy another one 5 years from now, if we have that one, then we're not relying on the sale of that to fund another piece of machinery that we desperately need.
Yeah. Well,
Might be a good idea to keep it.
let's speak to that. The county is kind of hankering after it. And that was my thought, that was my idea behind saying, if we were to do that, could we lease it back from you if we were to use it? If we wanted to do a 2-week thing where we could hire somebody and use it. So those are all things. I'm not going to make any decision without council. So, but now is the time for your thoughts on that, because if we do want to sell it to the county, we should probably do it this season soon. So.
Can we arrange for the trip to Missoula and get a little more familiar with the infrared before next meeting? Definitely, so we'll have at least a good idea whether we can recommend it or not. And then if you could find out about leasing back the pug truck, if that's able to work out, then we have probably enough information to decide how to proceed a little better.
I think maybe we should table the sale of the pug truck until we get the rest of this settled. I'd like to see that infrared myself. I don't really understand equipment, but I do in a way. Once I see it working, and I was so impressed with that when I saw it actually working, that truck. Because they patched part of my street, the street around the corner. It's just as if it was done yesterday. It had, nothing has changed. And that was 3 years ago. So I'm very impressed with it because of that.
Yeah, it works well when you've got the right muscle behind it, right? The brain
Yeah,
cells
you need,
to do it right, yeah.
you need muscle.
It is labor intensive.
Yeah, it's labor intensive.
One of the things about the infrared system, Connie, is you don't dig up the asphalt like you do with the pug truck. The pug
Okay.
truck, you dig it up, put it in the waste bins, haul it away, and you install new asphalt. Whereas with the infrared system, you leave the asphalt in place, you reheat it, rake it out just like you do in your garden, square it off, of course. That's what, one of the keys to repairs is squaring it off. But then you basically, it heats down about 1.5 to 2 inches deep, which I was pretty surprised that it went that deep.
You've seen it though, work.
There's many videos on YouTube if you want to watch them.
I'm gonna watch you.
That really, there's very many of them on there, and it's pretty explanatory.
Okay.
Lots of different people are using it. Like Joel said, Missoula, the city uses one, and then small contractors that go around just fix driveways uses smaller ones. And
Really? Okay.
this isn't like a new snake oil thing that
No, I'm not worried about that.
we're
I'm
prototyping.
I hate to see us get rid of a plug truck that we paid for,
Sure,
and I know it works. It works.
sure.
So,
So I have a question. Is it possible to rent the bug truck to the county?
yeah,
We would lease it to them and we still own it, because what if in 5 years they decide to sell the pump truck, then we can't lease it back anyway, because they sold it?
I haven't tried that. That is something we could potentially bring up with Willie out there.
And
Willie,
since we're talking about all this,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that one pothole right there at the stop sign.
do you, okay.
Bill,
One of your, oh,
Thank you.
good job.
Yes, but that would make sense if they would allow us to lease it, at least then instead of sitting there, it makes us a little bit of money.
Well, we could lease it to them for labor, have them use it and fill some of our holes.
There you go. It's called the
That
barter
is the
system
thought.
right there, that's a good idea.
Willie is easy to work with. You have to go about all these things in a fairly legal manner, being we're government, but, yeah, it's something we can bring up to Willie. I feel a little bit conspicuous, because I've been procrastinating on all of these decisions for a long time now. A lot of that is because I don't want to do something without council's permission. But I think we do need to make some moves this season. We're running out of summer. And,
what's summer?
yeah.
I'm joining.
For a few days?
So we can talk about that. I've talked a lot with Willie and with Dan about it, and with the Public Works Committee. I think we need to make some decisions on it. You're right, we don't have to sell the bug truck, but also something is sitting in our garage. I mean, I'm an insufferable keeper of things, and I know what that means. That 20 years from now, if we haven't used it, now it's not worth anything. So that's something to consider too.
I just brought it up as a thought, but
So she made a motion to table it, I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we table the selling of the pug truck.
Did we have a motion? No? Or is it?
Well,
Not to sell it, table it.
No.
the sale of the pug truck,
The
I
sale
guess
of
the
the
question
pug
is, should we sell the pug truck? It has been moved that we,
Was that on our agenda?
yeah, it is on our agenda.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded that we table the issue of selling the pug truck. All in favor of that?
I,
All opposed? All right. I will just encourage us to continue to push forward on this though, because we are running out of time on it. So that may mean a special meeting down the road. Surplus police cruiser, second or third on new business. I don't know if you have a picture of it. You don't need it. It's that Dodge Charger, Challenger. So the price has been set to put that up for bid with a minimum of $45,000. It has, I think, right now, I'm sorry, 4,500.
That's not 45,000 for the city.
inflation is just.
Well, 45, yeah. Well, I'll buy
We're
it
gonna
with
stamp,
that.
yeah, we're gonna charter stamp on the cost of $25,000.
Probably does not get the fuel economy of my Prius, but it is,
what year is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking earlier, I need to find all that out so that people want to bid on it.
Yeah.
It isn't in bad shape though, it isn't in bad shape,
No, it doesn't look
$4,500.
bad at all, that's right.
Yeah, it doesn't have very many miles.
But it comes with
I don't know
spotlights,
how many,
got
but-
the spotlights.
And that's the problem with patrol cars, is that they may not have a lot of miles, but they have many, many, many hours of sitting, idling, or being completely cold. Get in, start them, drive
Just
100
have to
miles
go
an
right
hour.
away, yeah.
The police department would like to move that and bring in some money for other things that they need. We do not need this anymore, so it's on the table to put this up for a bid to sell. It would be a sealed bid, but we need to pass a resolution to do that.
Make a motion that we pass resolution number 18-3 for the sale of the surplus police car.
A second.
Moved and seconded that we pass the resolution. We'll take a individual vote on that on the table.
Chad,
Yes.
Lana,
Yes.
Connie,
Yes.
John, Whistler,
Yes.
John Sheridan,
Yes,
JD.
Yes, we will sell it.
Ooh, does it say on there when bids close, or how do we know?
That's a
when bids
minimum
close?
bid of 4,500, right?
Maybe like, what's the deadline for people to put their bids in? Like a month from now, 2 weeks from now, does it say?
I don't know that it does.
No, it's on there.
I think that will be notified when we actually put it out on the bid. We'll put that in the paper or wherever we put that information, we'll put it in and we'll tell them when, tell the public when that bid has to be in by. Committee reports, Public Works Committee, you did meet, do you want to add anything to our discussion?
Skip the administrative committee.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Ooh, Administrative Committee, and Kathy isn't here, who's typically, do you have anything on the Administrative Committee?
No, I think we're just basically kind of waiting to hear back from the attorney, so other than that, everything seems to move forward pretty well.
For the
The
budget?
budget.
So the Public Works Committee met on June 21st, and we had 3 topics. We talked about 3 different areas in town where we have drainage problems. The first at Fifth Avenue and Third Street, the second at Blake Street and McGowan, and the third at Clayton and Johnson. And we discussed putting French drains in those locations for drainage. We also talked about the infrared asphalt system that John Russler and John Sheridan have been talking about. And then lastly, we talked about sewer hookup over on Walnut in Maine. And there is the minutes of that Public Works meeting in everybody's packet.
Any discussion or comment? Okay, Parks and Recreation Committee.
We didn't meet, but we've been busy. Purchased 8 trees, 6 are planted. Last 2 we met to some resistance from Public Works. And then the garrisons are going to donate more trees. And we get first pick, so we're gonna go check that out on Friday. See how many more trees we can get. We don't want crab apples. We want crab apples. But, yeah, we're busy planting trees.
They look nice too. Really nice.
And the Public Works people put fencing around them and good. Most
Got water to 'em?
We got water to them.
It's too bad that our press isn't here to hear that about the garrisons donating those trees, and there's some way that we can talk to Tracy and Ed about that and have
Yeah.
some recognition to those folks.
are you looking at putting trees on the greenway where
Well,
some of that out a little bit?
we've got, so the problem why they keep dying out is they're too close to the highway and spray that magnesium all winter and it's just hard on them. It's just, but the two that we have left, we're thinking the greenway. We originally had thought in front of the swimming pool, but, apparently there's irrigation lines and electrical lines and
Right.
Public Works does not want them there.
It's not sewer there, it's
It's a water line. There is concern about the root systems of, I think those were maple trees, yeah. So there is concern about that. I did like the location of them, but I kind of ran into resistance from Public Works too.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, let's hold off on those two anyway for a minute and we can revisit that.
So yeah, there's several spots up here along the highway in the long greenway that we can certainly put some up there.
you think it's a better location? Or just putting them back where they were?
Yeah, I don't. I hate putting them back where they were because, you know, I just don't know if they're gonna take there, but
Yeah.
to make it look uniform and everything, that's where they really need to go. So. Anyway,
Yeah, we're gonna have public comment in a minute, Charles, so hold that thought.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on. Planning board,
We haven't met.
we have not met.
We're waiting for.
We're still waiting to hear
For
from
them
IMEG
to-
on that. Police commission, is there any word from the police commission?
Police commission did meet, and the only thing we determined is we want to have closer working relationship with police departments. We get to know them, everything else, so it doesn't come in cold, when we have a problem, we have to hire someone. So we'll talk to the chief and see if we can meet with them, just talk, ride around or whatever we have to do, just to try to become more familiar with the police department itself, the officers.
Good move. Thank you for that. And safety committee, there was none. So public comment,
Thank you. I'm ready. We're trying to get this done in 7 minutes. My name is Charles Beckenhauser. I've been here now for close to 5 years. We bought a house 6 years ago. We're right across from the waiting pool. And so just something about applying pesticides. You can't apply pesticides when it's raining because it washes them right off. And last Friday, a week ago Friday, a very hardworking, very wonderful person was applying pesticides over where the kids' gym is right across from the house. And I went over and said, it's raining and you can't do that. It's actually against the law or the regulations. Because it doesn't stay, it goes right to ground. And the person was upset. I came down and mentioned to Kathy, the person was upset, so she would know about it. And if it came up, deal with it. But pesticides, there is a easy to find, it's called the Montana State Laws and Regulations Pertaining to the Use of Pesticides. It's about a 20-page read. It's incredibly readable. And I believe that we have to have, I'm not sure, but I believe that we have to have a person that's licensed for pesticides on staff. And those licenses are given, they only last for a year. They have to be renewed every year. And the person doing the work, an incredible person, but just did not have the awareness that you can't put it on in rain, innocent, of any intentional wrongdoing. But you don't want to be on the month's end of, I'm not going to report anything, but if that ever got out, the reports that you go through would stagger a horse with the federal government and the state, trust me. So we need somebody to be on top of when we use pesticides. And
when you're talking pesticides, are you talking weed killers or what?
I believe so.
Do you know what she was applying?
Well, she didn't tell me, I didn't ask her. I know that apparently we buy our pesticide spray from a company that knows how to make the particular type that we use. I really don't know what, the town's history was, but she was in no mood to tell me. She was really upset, and I just apologize and walked away. I mean, I talked to her like I'm talking now. She was very upset.
So it was actively raining.
It was actively raining. Yeah, it rained that whole morning. And by the way, public notice. I'm not a Facebook person. I can't stand it. Please put public notices of these things on our town web. We have a beautiful town web now, and it's easy to do. I'm just saying that so we don't run foul of the law, of the regulations. You don't want that mess. Trust me, you don't want it. Just so you know. Now, Parks and Rec, second item that I have. We have had, I have copies of everything I have here for John Lee, so you can pick them up later. We have had, in the last 30 months, we have had 8 meetings. And I have here year by year. In 2022, we had 3 meetings. And this is from the minutes on the webpage. And I checked today to make sure that all the minutes were up since 22, and they are. In 2023, we had 4 meetings, and this year we'll have 1 meeting, 8 meetings in 30 months. And we have to do a number of things, as they have noted, this committee has noted Parks and Recs in their minutes. They're well aware of this. They include ADA sidewalks, American Disability Act sidewalks, to at least 2 of the pergolas, a street sidewalk for safety around the park or around part of it, dog poop sacks, which I've mentioned, a place to deposit dog poop. Every morning, my wife and I watch people walk their dogs poop, and they walk off. Once in a while, somebody has a poop sack, not very often. And as we all know, there are kids that play throughout that area all the time. A fourth, I would like to talk about in the future, a larger pergola, maybe on the order of 20 by 15 feet, because in the 3 smaller pergolas, sometimes there are, 20, 25, 30 people gathered there for whatever recreation, whatever, that they're doing. Those little pergolas are wonderful, but we need a larger one just for our people to keep them out of the rain and out of the shade. It's something to think about. But I have no way to mention this to anybody. A second play park for younger kids, 2 to 5 years of age. The play park that we have, the mama and papas and older brothers and sisters have to help their really young kids up there because it's too big for them. And a play park for really younger kids, 2 to 5, is quite a different structure. Very safe. Such things as even, a turtle, a cement turtle just crawl with its design off the ground. And kids love that kind of thing. A wading pool. We have talked quite a bit about a wading pool. Some people absolutely don't want it. Some people do. The nice thing about a wading pool is that you don't need a lifeguard.
We have a wading pool.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Splash pad.
Thank you, splash pad. My mistake, I actually wrote it on a splash pad. Splash pads, you don't need a lifeguard, and the parent can walk in, an adult with the kids can walk in, hit a timer. We can set the timer for any length of time or any time of day. It can't be turned on at night so that somebody's not going to take a shower out there. A splash pool does not require a lifeguard. And now the comments on, anyway, this, for me as a resident, the Parks and Rec Board, the board, not the people, the board is not a functional entity for me. There is, one meeting this year, one meeting.
You have 60 seconds left.
I'm sorry,
60 seconds.
second time, okay. But I want you to know that. Planning board information. In the last 2 years, the growth in between here and Thompson Falls is about 8.5%, plus or minus a tenth or 0.2%. And that's from the U.S. Bureau of Statistics and the Montana Department of Commerce. We are no longer growing at 1 or 1.5% of the 10 years. And we need, right now, the planning board is considering an option of a 10-unit, maybe 3 apartments in each unit. Lots of options there, and we've talked about it earlier. But I would like to see a better discussion of questions and options and better detailed minutes. And you can, for instance, record those minutes and have the minutes automatically transcribed. AI will transcribe the minutes with a high amount of.
Thank you, Charles. We're gonna call time on that. That's your 7 minutes. Thank you for that. And honestly, you have complete leave to find grants for these things that you're looking at. Appreciate your interest in that. Again, small town, small resources, thankful for the resources and the volunteers and that we have. And do appreciate your involvement on that.
Can I say 30 seconds, 2 items just for information?
No, we're gonna
Okay,
close that out.
no, that's not.
Any other public comment? All right. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.